If you've been at this for months, don't think you suck at manifestation. Do you know why? Because in one of Neville's books, I believe this was in The Law and the Promise, Neville gave a great story about a doctor and his wife and how they were trying to manifest building a building on their lot that they had purchased. This is one of Neville's most famous stories, in my opinion. A great manifestation story that shows you the power of, one, persisting, and number two, not necessarily taking action like most people would take action. For those of you that don't know, there's a story in Neville's book, The Law and the Promise, about a doctor and his wife. And they had bought 2 lots, I believe, because I don't remember the story at the top of my head. So if I mess up on the detail, please forgive me, because I know those of you in the comments or people will watch it and say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He got the story wrong, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. But the doctor and the wife had purchased 2 lots, I believe. They had already built on one building, or they had already had a building on one building, but they had always dreamt of putting an apartment building on an empty lot that was next to them. And they had this lot for like 15 years, I believe it was. So think about this. They had the lot for 15 years. 15 years passed and nothing happened. That's definitely not instant. So what I want to do is, I think is what will help is getting into the specific passage that shows how long it took. And I want to show you guys the comprehension level behind how long it took. Obviously, this is not the full story or the full chapter of the doctor and wife. This is just a part that I'm reading. So if you want to read the full, obviously, you got to read the whole chapter. One day of talking together of our building, my wife mentioned a contractor who had constructed several apartment houses in our neighborhood. We knew of him only by the name that appeared on signs adjacent to the buildings under construction, but realizing that if we were living in the end, we would not be looking for a contractor, we promptly forgot this angle. Continuing these periods of daily imagining for several weeks, several motherfucking weeks. We both felt we were now fused with our desire and had successfully been living in the end. Just in case you missed it, let me read it to you one more time. Continuing these periods of daily imagining for several weeks. Now, let's peel this back a little bit. Several weeks. Again, this is where comprehension comes into play. What is your definition of several weeks? It didn't say several days. It didn't say several hours. It said several weeks. Several to me means many. That's what several to me means. When I read this and I read between the lines and I start to comprehend what they mean, because there is no exact number. Several could be anything. Several could be 3 months. Several could be 6 months. Several could be 9 months. Bottom line to me, when I hear the term several weeks, that lets me know that these people were imagining probably for months, at least 3 to 4 months minimum. But see, again, these are the details I pay attention to when I read Neville's teachings and when I read other people's teachings. I don't just read stuff and be like, oh, that happened instantly, because Neville has a few examples in his books and throughout his examples where stuff never happened instantly.